You know that feeling when you mention AI at work and half the room leans in, they're excited, and the other half, they just go quiet.
Yeah, like they're either bracing for a sales pitch or dreading a conversation about their job.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that both reactions make complete sense right now.
Yeah, because the loudest voices in and around AI are either telling you it's going to solve everything.
Or destroy everything.
And to be honest, neither of those positions is especially useful.
Because the real work and also the real opportunity sits somewhere in between.
And that's exactly what this season is about.
So, welcome back to the Marketer's Guide to the AI Galaxy. I'm Joya Scarlata.
And I'm Mara Dettmann.
And if you've been listening to us for a while, you know this podcast is where we really try to make sense of AI for both B2B and B2C marketers beyond the headlines, beyond the hype, and the hot takes. So if you're new here, welcome. I think you've picked a really good season to start.
You picked a great season to start. Yeah.
Exactly.
But so just before we get into this season, we want to quickly reintroduce ourselves and why we started this whole project in the first place. So, not because we think you've forgotten, but because a lot has changed since season 1.
A lot. So when we initially launched this podcast a few years ago, oh my gosh, time flies.
Yeah, years ago.
The goal years ago, the goal was really simple. We wanted to break down this crazy complex world of AI and help marketers understand what this means for their work. Not just talking about tools, not just prompts, but really focusing on the strategy. And over the past few seasons, we talked about a lot. We talked about AI governance, AI myths, what's happening in the news, and how marketing in itself is changing.
And especially over the last year, we've seen something interesting happen because AI conversations have gotten louder and a lot more polarized.
Yes, a lot more extreme. You've probably felt this every year, every week. There's a headline saying AI is going to replace jobs. It's going to replace entire industries. It's going to create unimaginable wealth or it's going to collapse the internet or it will democratize everything.
Yeah, and then so many narratives because we've also got on the other hand, well, not just on the other hand, but also out there, we have AI is dangerous, AI is unethical, AI is uncontrollable. And then off the back of all of that, you've got people saying AI should be slowed down or stopped altogether.
And to us, here's the problem with both narratives. When the conversation lies and lives at the extremes, people don't actually learn how to work with the technology. They either overinvest with tools that they don't really understand or they don't know how to explain to, say, their staff or people that they work with, or they disengage with it entirely and it hopes it blows over. And neither of it is really a strategy.
Yeah, which brings us to the central idea for this season.
So the way we see season 4 is that the space between this AI hype and AI fear is where AI literacy lives. And we're not talking about technical literacy. We're not saying that you need to be, say, a machine engineer, a machine learning engineer. We're talking about functional literacy. So understanding how AI works, what it cannot and can do, where it actually adds real value and where it does not.
Yeah, and the cost of not having that AI literacy is something that we're already seeing in organizations. It's also something that I think is really behind all those headlines we were talking about. Because we've got things like teams signing six-figure contracts for AI tools based on a vendor demo. Yeah, you've got those campaigns delegated entirely to models with no human review or oversight of any or input of any kind. And then, yeah, one thing again, which we see a lot of the research pieces focus on is especially leaders making roadmap decisions based on trend pieces or again demos rather than actual evidence.
And they're not hypotheticals, they're conversations that we're seeing and observing on regularly.
But if there's one thing that prevents these decisions or helps you recover from them, it's this AI literacy.
Exactly. So, what do we mean when we talk about functional AI literacy? So, let's just dig in a little bit deeper. There's a lot that falls underneath this and we want to emphasize that it's not just understanding and learning, say, how to use Claude or how to use ChatGPT. It's really understanding, say, for example, what a model is actually doing when you prompt it, understanding how the training data shapes outputs, even biases, and why that matters for your brand. Understanding that hallucinations, they do happen, why they happen, and in turn, how to build review processes that catch them. Also, understanding how automation changes workflows, and in turn, how it changes how you work, not just speeds it up. And then critically, really, when we talk about AI literacy, it boils down to how do you properly evaluate an AI output, not just does this look right or is this actually good?
I think, yeah, one way of looking at this is that it's very similar to data literacy in marketers because you
Mm.
don't need to be a statistician to interpret a dashboard, but what you do need to know is you need to be able to understand what the numbers mean and what questions to ask when they don't make sense.
Exactly. And in our opinion, AI literacy is really becoming the next foundational skill for knowledge workers. And for marketers, it's already here.
Exactly. And we all love a good from to. So this season is all about helping people move from AI curiosity and sometimes AI overwhelm or AI disillusionment to AI capability. Because right now we're seeing three groups emerging inside organizations, and the distance between them is growing fast.
So, group one, there are those who are just completely avoiding AI. They're either skeptical, they're overwhelmed, or just kind of waiting it out. Group two are the ones that are experimenting with AI. They're using the tools, they're testing prompts, they're starting to see the value, but it's a little bit ad hoc. They're using it inconsistently. And then group three are those who are really operationalizing AI. They're not just using it, they're building it into how their team works. They have judgment on when to use it, when not to use it, and how to evaluate when that comes out.
Yeah, so basically got three tiers here, and the season is built all around helping you move through and between them.
Exactly. Because the gap between tier one and tier three isn't just about or isn't about the access to tools, again, about the literacy and about upskilling yourself. So, with all this in mind, with the theme of season 4 with being functional AI literacy, here is what we're going to explore this season, and we're really, really excited. So, coming up, we're going to talk about what AI literacy actually looks like in practice. It's good to talk about it in theory, but we want to see how it manifests in the real world. So, that means inside real teams with real constraints. We want to talk about what skills do marketers need to develop or need to consider over the next few years? How do organizations adopt AI responsibly without just chasing the hype circle? What are the real limitations of these systems, and especially the ones that vendors don't really tell you about?
Yes, because again, it's all about being able to evaluate, to know what's going on in the world of AI, and to be able to evaluate like what it means for you, how useful it is, what's hype and overblown, and what's actually valuable. And as part of that, we're also going to get into the still hot topic of AI agents and
Yeah.
automation, what that actually means, and again, how to use them, how to not use them, the changing role of marketers, and again, as Joya was saying, all about practice. So it's really about how can we actually build AI capability inside a team. And of course, context matters. So we're going to look at how different different industries, different career stages, different types of roles, because yeah, even within and beyond marketing and even countries are approaching this differently, what works, what doesn't. Yeah, how can we learn?
There's so much, and I'm excited. And throughout it all, we're going to make sure we stay grounded in reality. There's enough hype out there, and the last thing we want to do is add to it. So, there's a lot that we're going to cover this season. We're very excited. But if there's one thing that we want you to take away from the season, it's this. We're not envisioning a future where it's people versus AI. And it may sound cliche, but it really is people who understand AI versus people who don't. And that's the reality that we're dealing with. That's the job market right now. And that gap, fortunately or unfortunately, it's widening right now. And this season is really about making sure you're prepared for, utilizing AI and making sure you're on the right side of it, honestly.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like AI literacy, AI is here. It's not going to go away, regardless of what some people say.
Yeah,
It's here, companies and are implementing it. So for us, literacy is really the bridge between those two worlds, between the people who understand AI, those who don't, and maybe those who are just getting there. Building for that, building AI literacy is what we're here for.
exactly. So if you've been lately feeling overwhelmed by the speed of AI,
Or just aren't sure where to get started.
this season is definitely for you. So we're going to break down concepts, probably talk about a little bit of myths in AI literacy, the strategy, the real implications of AI for marketers, but also across different industries, because obviously understanding just the concepts or learning how to use the tools, they're not optional. It's a professional skill and it's one that you can definitely build.
Yes, yeah, and not just a professional skill, but I think also one for like, yeah, folks entering the workforce. So for
Yeah.
colleges, universities, trainees, again, it's an essential skill now. So thank you for joining us for the season 4 premiere of The Marketer's Guide to the AI Galaxy. Next episode, we are going to start getting into it, unpacking what literacy actually looks like inside organizations in the year 2026 and why so many attempts to build it fall short.
Looking forward. So see you next time.